So much happened that we've got to talk about from this weekend. You've got Paul George suspended for 25 games. 24 now because we've already played one. You got Vic Fangio contemplating retirement. It's a lot of shit that's gone down over the last 36 to 48 hours. We're going to talk all about it. Trending in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome welcome all to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter, every single day, Monday through Friday. You know it, 90-plus minutes of sports talk, 90-plus minutes of taking your thoughts and opinions here on the People's Morning Show. But before we get started on any and all, there's comments flowing in on all the topics. You guys missed me that much over the weekend. Before we get started, please hit the like button wherever you are, share this out, and subscribe. Even if you're watching on replay, please hit those buttons. Please drop your comments on any and all topics. I will respond to every single replay comment, guys, but it starts with those buttons being clicked, like, share, subscribe. Guys, we get right started here. I'm Phil Stiefel. So much happening in Philadelphia sports over the last 48 hours. Breaking Sixers news of a Paul George suspension for a drug failure the week of the trade deadline that has so many implications on what the Sixers do over the next 4 days and over the next 24 games and headed to the playoffs. So we've got lots to dive into with Paul George there. But obviously the big Eagles news is the hinting that Adam Schefter's big news was a potential Vic Fangio retirement, so to speak. He's been now 2 years in a row being almost begged to come back, and I think it's crazy. I think it's completely and totally crazy what's going on with Vic Fangio and the Eagles. And the poll question of the day, it's a statement. A potential Vic Fangio retirement would be the biggest loss for the offseason Eagles. True or false? It would be a massive loss for the Eagles. Massive. If Vic Fangio was to retire. But I got lots of opinions on it, but I want to get to your opinions first. Thank you very much, Adam, for kicking off the show with that. Muchas gracias. Means a lot. Thank you. But let's get right to all the other comments. I've got a lot of them. Good morning, Duck. How you doing? It's over, Vic gang. It seems like it's not. It seems like Vic Fangio will be around for one more year, but we'll find out more today about it. But I'm going to have a very interesting opinion on Vic Fangio and what I would do. I'm not seething. I'm just who I am. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? Hope you are well this morning as well. Paul George and Vic Fangio. Big things here. Biggest loss would be Phil retiring to DoorDash full-time and be replaced by Big Silly Man. He can never fill my shoes, right? Eagles re-sign Jalen Phillips, Reed, and Dean. We were going to start today with the stay or go. So we'll start with stay or go tomorrow on free agents for sure, Lil G. But yeah, Josh Harris lied about knowing Epstein. Look, you know me, K1. I don't do politics. I don't do serious conversations on this show. But I will say that Josh Harris's name in those. I do follow these stories very, very intently on the side. You know, it does. I just don't like conversing on it. But yes, if Josh Harris was involved, Josh Harris should. The owner of the Dodgers, was it? Or cut by the Giants? A couple sports owners involved in this, and they should be all forced out if they were. That's my political statement. Good morning, Robert. How you doing? Look, I do go over that stuff. I do. If it's a struggle to keep someone in-house, is it worth it? It would be a huge loss, especially after the OC debacle. Yeah. on the Vic Fangio thing, and I want to preface this by saying I was planning on having this thought process today beforehand, but I literally just before the show saw a clip of John Kincaid from his morning show saying the exact same thing, so I wanted to let it out there. I'm not copying John. This is my opinion as well. But if I was the Eagles and Christian Parker was getting interest from multiple teams to be the DC, and if Vic Fangio now for 2 straight years has contemplated calling it a career, he will be 68 years old this season, Vic Fangio. I would have just said to Vic Fangio, you know what? Thank you very much. Thank you for winning us a Super Bowl. Thank you for your service. But we're gonna move on and give your guy Christian Parker the reins. If you want to stay as a consultant, you can. But if you want to retire, go ahead. I would have said that to Vic Fangio. I know it's not the popular thing. I know losing Vic would be bad. But losing Vic next year without Christian Parker to replace him, I know we got Clint Hurts still. That's a major, major loss. So I would have probably told Vic Fangio deuces ahead of time instead of him maybe deciding in another 2 weeks when all the good coordinator candidates are gone. I would have done that. I would have taken that chance because it would have been better off that way. At least that would have been my style. That's how I would have done it. Bill up all night. My voice sounds like it. Say it ain't so, Vic. It might be so, Rick. It might be happening. But am I crazy to say if this is second year in a row that we got to play this game with Vic Fangio, that maybe it's just time to say deuces? You know, and I don't mean that in a mean way. Good morning, Jimbo. How you doing? If we lose Vic, that's going to be a huge loss. It would be a massive loss, especially after having already lost Christian Parker. These commercials, well, you know, sorry. Can't help you with that. They fully re-signed your boy Reed Blankenship. They finally re-signed your boy Reed Blankenship. Who did? The Eagles? The Eagles haven't signed anybody to my knowledge. I don't think anybody has been re-signed to at this point by the Eagles. So the offseason doesn't start for a little while on that. Bobby King and Clint Hurt are very solid guys. Really not as big of a deal so long as the field coach types like Bond and DeJean are here. Yeah, I get it. And Bobby King is often forgotten about. Clint Hurt, another name that's getting a lot of whatever. But you get my opinion that, you know, enough's enough. Make a commitment or don't. If we've got to beg you, is it crazy to say, you know, just move on, right? Just call it. Now, I will say this. You got a lot of people saying Jim Schwartz or bringing this guy or that guy. You've got to be very careful with whoever you replace Vic Fangio with. And the reason being is because this defense was built in Vic Fangio's style. This defense was built 3 defensive tackles down, 2 edges that could drop into coverage, certain styles of linebacker play, right? You can't just go, everyone wanted to talk, oh, we should go get Jim Schwartz. He's disgruntled with Cleveland right now, right? He is under contract in Cleveland, so it would be a tough situation to play out anyway, but that's another whole subject. But this defense, as it's built, wouldn't work for Jim Schwartz, right? He needs 4 down linemen, 2 DTs, and 2 DNs, not the new edge style with 3 DTs down. So you got to be very careful on this Vic Fangio retirement, not just because you got to have a guy ready to replace him, not because it's a year in, year out thing, is he staying or is he going, but because of the philosophy changes that would be required if you moved on from somebody in-house. Tish, what? Yep. Tish was the other owner. That's right. That was mentioned in the list. Absolutely. Respect to Phil Goner. Dude, I follow a lot of political stuff. I watch a lot of news and a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff. I just don't like talking about it. I don't. Because nobody can have real conversations about it. I would get someone in behind Vic in place to cover that position. Well, they had that guy, and Christian Parker, they let him walk, right? They have somebody, a Bobby King or Clint Hurt there. But it's still It's time to make a decision, basically. Gannon, Schwartz, or McDermott, which would be your choice to DC to replacement? None of those would be my choice. It would have been Christian Parker. Gannon's already signed with the Green Bay Packers. Schwartz is technically under contract in Cleveland. McDermott would be the only available one of those three at this moment, Rick. But I would rather go in-house because by going in-house, your personnel will fit the guy that's getting promoted from within. I can't agree more on that statement. Let Vic retire and go with. Look, yeah, I have no desire to see Vic Fangio retire. But at some point, you got to understand, you can't beg a guy to constantly stick around. Eventually, you just got to say, look, all right, 2 years of maybe. Come on. We love you. We appreciate the work you did for us, getting us our second Super Bowl. We wouldn't have gotten it without you. But let's be honest. Enough's enough. You just lost Christian Parker, and now you're not sure? Enough's enough. They are talking about bringing back Schwartz or Gannon. I don't want Gannon. He screwed us. Look, Jonathan Gannon, I want it back here in an assistance role. I thought it would have helped. I thought it would have been okay. Obviously, Green Bay hired him, so it's not even part of it. Schwartz, you would have to make a trade. The Browns would have to release him from his contract. It doesn't just fit. Bobby King just flies under the radar. It's unreal. I agree, and I try to mention Bobby King and other assistants at times. What he's done with, Zach Bond alone over the last 2 years gives him the deserving factor for a role, for sure. I'm not a fan of Fangio's scheme anyway. Bring back Jim Schwartz. That said, let's not react to every rumor like it's the end of the world. I agree with that, Keith. Look, I believe that there are rumors that Vic Fangio is contemplating it. I do. And I do believe that he was last year as well. He's going to be 68 in mid-late August. Guy's getting up there. But we knew this was going to be his last ride as well. He said it when we hired him, that this is it. When I'm done here, I'm done, right? Either I'll retire or they'll fire me and then I'll retire. So I don't doubt that these rumors are true. The problem with your statement, Keith, that in my opinion is just bringing back Jim Schwartz doesn't make things okay still. This defense is built in Vic Fangio's likeness, his scheme. Whether you like it or not, whether I like his scheme or not, I would love a more blitz-happy scheme. Sure. But we don't have the personnel to run a Jim Schwartz scheme technically, in theory. Technically, in theory, you know what I mean. Is it safe to say Vic and the Eagles' defense was more responsible for the Super Bowl win than Hurts? I don't think that's true. I think they both played massive roles in it, Rick. Obviously, people say the defense deserved the MVP. Josh Sweat deserved the MVP. Sure, you could say that, but you can also say Jalen Hurts deserved it as well. You can't until March, right? Yeah, the free agency doesn't begin for a little while. But why bring back Jim Schwartz, Robert? When you would have to completely gut your defense. Well, I don't know if you have to gut it. You have to make major changes to everything all over the defense. 6 more weeks. Yes, Puxatony Phil saw his shadow. 6 more weeks a winner. Yay! Oh, woo! Yay! Is there a weirder tradition in this country or anywhere in the world than Groundhog Day and Puxatony Phil? The fact that Puxatony, PA gets tens and tens of thousands of people every Groundhog Day to go visit, to watch a groundhog come out and see or not see its shadow. I think Puxatony Day or Puxatony Phil and Groundhog Day is the weirdest tradition ever. Like, it really is. Jim Schwartz is guaranteed good D. I mean, I don't know about that. There are a lot of points in Jim Schwartz's time here in Philly that we were not in love with this, okay, with Jim Schwartz, right? There was a long period of time that we didn't love him. As long as you have slot cornerbacks and linebackers and get coverage depth you can play this style of defense. Seriously, it's not as big a deal as it seems. Okay. But if you go and you change everything and go get a Schwartz or whoever out there, people were saying Raheem Morris. I didn't write it down. I saw he just signed somewhere, so he's off the table as well. You go out and you get a different Sean McDermott. Things just won't easily transition is what I'm saying, in my opinion. How quickly people forget Jim Johnson had this same situation before he even had cancer. Did he contemplate retirement every year? I don't remember that. Maybe the media didn't make us a big deal because there was no social media. Does Nick keep Vic around by saying, why you're, what? Stop. Tom Moore just retired after coaching 62 years at the age of 87. Yes, I know. People can coach very late. And I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not shocked when coaches, old school coaches, coach late into their age. That's all they know, right? Coaching for 50, 40, 60 years, whatever it is. That is all they know. Who is out there to bring in on the outside? Big name wise, Sean McDermott would be the only big name, left out there, right? That would be it, right? That, Phil, is just as accurate as you are, 33%. Yeah, exactly. I caught myself as I was saying it, how contradictory it was right away. Got to watch Groundhog Day today. I don't. I think it's an overrated movie, Groundhog Day. I don't get excited for it at all. They used to eat the groundhog at the end of the day. Name the movie. Groundhog Day? I don't know. Weird tradition. Decent movie. Maybe slightly overrated because of the holiday. Groundhog Day was like the Wing Bowl, just an excuse to get trashed at 6 a.m. It really is. When I was in the pizza business, which I act like it wasn't, only like a couple months ago, there was actually a Fox's Pizza franchise in Puxatawny, and Scott Anthony, the owner of it, and I were pretty close and always talked and all. And he used to do so much business on Groundhog's Day, like massive amounts of it. It's crazy. I agree with Phil. No more political yeah, exactly. No politics ever. Don't forget the bend, don't break defense. We were going nuts. We were always going nuts over Jim Schwartz, right? We hated Jim Schwartz, right? We couldn't wait to get rid of Jim Schwartz, right? We moved on from Jim Schwartz to Jonathan Gannon, and we were so pumped, right? And then you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? We missed Jim Schwartz pretty quickly after he left. How dare you criticize our Groundhog Day? I freaking love that holiday. Another reason for you to get up, right, and drink early in the morning. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't. I never did. Ain't no way Paul George was on PED averaging a triple single. Look, Paul George is the other big thing. We spent the first 15 minutes covering Vic Fangio news. We are obviously talking Paul George as well, getting suspended 25 games for failing a drug test. He claims he was taking something for his anxiety and mental health, and just got caught, did not do the proper checking of the drug, which is ridiculous, okay? Completely ridiculous. First and foremost, you're in the NBA. It is not hard to get checked, whatever you're taking medically-wise, right? I believe in taking care of mental health. I know Paul George suffers from it, just like A.J. Brown. His statement read an awful lot like, I smoked too much weed and I got busted, which I don't think they test for weed anyway, so that's not what it is. How you can get busted smoking or taking a drug, an anti-anxiety medicine that is not cleared, like, it's just stupid, right? It's just careless, right? But it changes so much for the Sixers this week and the rest of the season. He'll come back, Paul George, with about 10 games left in the season. He'll be healthy and he'll be fresh. It affects the luxury tax that the Sixers are trying to get under, right? But what do they do now trade-wise? What will the team look like without any continuity going into the playoffs? It puts more minutes on certain guys. There's a lot that's wrong with the Paul George situation. Did Fangio retire? He's too blunt to pussyfoot around it. I agree. He is not. But that is the rumor that possibly is the big news from Adam Schefter that could be dropping this week. Him retiring or maybe not retiring, right? Every sports organization has a number you can call to verify that your drug you're taking is okay. Absolutely. It's a 24/7 hotline, right? There's no excuse for failing a drug test for medication that was on a banned list. There's no excuse for it. While I understand why he's taking the drug, while I understand why he's doing what he does, there's still no excuse. It's a lazy excuse. I didn't know. Outside of Philly and Pittsburgh is a backwood area, a day revolving around groundhog. Isn't the weird? That's true. That's true. It's very true. Big Al. Paul George and Alvarado are both scumbags. Look, I get your statement, Adam, and I get it. I understand it. Jose Alvarado definitely took something to improve his performance. In theory, if we trust Paul George was just trying to help his mind, right? Not his body. So I get it. It's still very selfish of him to not properly get the drug vetted. That's all. Guys, if you haven't yet, there's way more people watching than likes on the video. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. It's free to do. Subscribe, share, continue dropping your comments as well. Joel Embiid teammates almost died from a peanut allergy, forgot how to shoot, mental breakdown in a playoff game, called the GM a liar in China, Tobias Harris, PEDs. All the things wrong with the Sixers organization, right? Yeah. I don't think you missed anything here. I think you pretty much summed it all up in one comment, Marshawn. Plenty of DC failure stories after successful DB coaches. Joe Barry, Todd Walsh, and Jim O'Neil are the recent examples. So you're not as worried about the loss of Christian Parker, right? I get that. I understand that. And I'm fine with that. But the thought process of going outside versus inside is all I'm worried about with the Vic Fangio thing. And Christian Parker is well regarded in circles. All right, it's not like it's my opinion that Christian Parker is highly sought after. He's one of those fast rising defensive minds that a lot of people respect. Remember the definition or description of PA and Philly on the east and Pitts on the west and Kentucky in the middle. I don't. What's up, O'Rourke? How you doing today? Yeah, let's go. We're at 10-12. We started the show at 1,012. All right. We started last week at 993, gained 19. 19 new subscribers this week would put me at 1031, but 10K. That would be beautiful, Brian. When you stink from the top, like the Cowboys do, you need almost everything to go right. Yeah, I'm not saying Christian Parker is going to be great or not. It is what it is. I didn't even mention Furkan Korkmaz, TLC. Yes. Timothy Lalue. Man, I can't even remember how to pronounce his name. It's been so long. Greg Monroe. Yeah, that was another one. Hey, look, the ads are what the ads are, buddy. I've only had one pop up on my screen so far. I'm sure I'll have more. The ads are what the ads are. Can't stop the ads unless you pay for YouTube Premium. But that's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. Anyway, yeah. But Paul George. What do the Sixers do? Now, the Sixers were trying to get under the luxury tax, right? Or to save tax dollars, right? Paul George suspension saves the Sixers $5.87 million, leaving only $1.3 million to go to get under the tax. Then they can properly change Dominic Barlow's contract from a two-way, right? The Sixers actually got helped, in theory, by this suspension, financially speaking. Now, it does more harm than good on the court, right? Because Paul George was having a very good season based off of whatever, right? Based off of expectations, right? He was having a good season. Just had his first 30-point game, and I don't know how long, not too long ago. What do the Sixers do? The trade deadline is literally Thursday afternoon. How do the Sixers maneuver now? What were they going to do? And what do they do now? You know, I was watching the Pelicans game this weekend. I was thinking about Sadiq Bey and how great Sadiq Bey will look coming off our bench. But now the Paul George situation, is that the angle I want to go in? Do you need another 3-and-D kind of wing now? for the next 24 games, 23, 22. Going out for 5 games on the West Coast trip. After that's over, the suspension's a quarter of the way over. Who knows, right? What they need to do. Ketamine is getting very popular for depressants. It's almost like a reboot. I don't know anything about that. PG was instructed by Darryl to take them PEDs. There are people that think he did it purposely. He doesn't care about playing every game anyway, right? There are people that truly believe that he's taking one for the team to help them save money. What I wish, my dream scenario with the Paul George situation, would be that him getting suspended like that for failing a drug test would let us void his contract. We know it's so more he can get below the luxury tax. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk that they want to get under that tax. Now they have $1.3 million to clear. Trading away Eric Gordon for pennies would get them under that now. Now, in theory, you could get somebody like a Sadiq Bey for a Eric Gordon, a Justin Edwards, and a couple second-round picks now. Fits under the contract. It fits in the luxury tax. Fits all over, right? Shout out to Embiid scoring 40 points on the night of the celebration. Yeah, not only does Paul George get suspended, but Paul George gets suspended on the night that we celebrate the 2001 Sixers, right? And I got to call somebody out. I'm going to, right? Mr. DJ Eastwood, run it back, whatever his name is. I don't even know his real name, but he's a big Sixers content creator. And he was out there on social media on Saturday night bashing the Sixers for their celebration. Why? Because it was taken away from him watching the Sixers game. The interviews, the press was too much, and he didn't like it. How could you not enjoy celebrating Allen Iverson and the 2001 Sixers? Arguably the only success, like the closest we've seen from this team being successful. Are you that boring that you don't enjoy once every 25 years hearing someone like Eric Snow or Billy King or Pat Croce or Allen Iverson or any of these guys? George Lynch had a lot of time talking. How can you be that bored listening to that? Did it really take away that much from the game? It didn't take anything away from the game. That boy. Tin Hat, did the Sixers turn PG to save money? Maybe. It's very possible. What's up, EC? Not worried about Vic Fangio because Clint taking over next year. I mean, yeah. It's the obvious thing. Is Clint taking over? Christian Parker left. He would have been the guy. But, yeah, Clint Hurt has worked under Fangio even before Philly. Where was it that they worked together? I forget what team it was. I wanted to say Seattle, but I don't think that's right. Jalen Hurts was lighting it up at the Pro Bowl games. Look, Jalen Hurts, Pro Bowl, yeah, cool. I mean, I don't get excited for it. The Pro Bowl's tomorrow night? Probably won't watch much of any of it. If not Clint Hurt, go get McDermott. Look, Sean McDermott is a name. Got connections to Philly. I get it, right? But he runs a completely different style of defense, so you got to take that into account, that this defense was built for Vic Fangio. This defense was built for him and his style, philosophy-wise. So, yeah. Just going and get McDermott sounds like a good idea, EC. But you got to probably change a lot of the personnel in the process. Are we not going to talk about Josh Harris? We already mentioned at the very beginning the whole Josh Harris. If it's true, which I've read, it seems like he's been involved, he should be gone. We get our wish, and he's out of here, right? Right? Josh Harris is broke. He can't afford the tax. He's going to have some legal bills to tackle. They said Sixers can get rid of Eric Gordon, get under the luxury tax. Yes. That's all you got to do now is get under the luxury tax, is by trading away Eric Gordon for nothing, basically. Dorian Finney-Smith can now be obtained, and he would fit like a glove. I feel like I have felt like DFS would have fit with the Sixers for several years now. Now, I'm not sure what his contract is this year, but I'm going to write them down because I'm going to do some Sixers trade things later this week. So, yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah, low dose Special K has been shown to effective with anxiety disorders. It's been used, originally used before it became a party drug in the 80s. Okay, yep, don't know. I don't have any problem calling anybody out. And I give people credit. I called out and gave credit to John Kincaid. He stole my idea before I could put my idea on the airwaves. So, look, I have no problem. Political, but relevant. Yeah. Honestly, I'm so sick of celebrating 93 and 01. Look, I get it. But it's not like they've made major party celebrations like Saturday night for 01 before, right? It was the 25th anniversary. Of course they're going to do something like that. And it got literally almost the entirety of the team together. Very rarely does that high a percentage of people get together. It was fun, right? Fun. Pat Croce looking like he ready to ride away on the Harley. Look, I was so glad to see Pat Croce looking so good. I know he was sick. I believe it was cancer. It seems like he's doing great now. His energy was there. I saw an interview with him while he was sick, and he just looked such a different person. So it was great to see Pat Croce out there doing good. 76ers Eastwood is Tamu Clint Eastwood. Is that what it is? He really loves to hear the Kate Scott. Look, I love Kate Scott. I think Kate Scott gets a bad rap, as did Tom McCarthy at first, as will whoever replaces Merrill Reese eventually down the line. It is hard to replace legends. And Mark Zumoff is a legend, and Mark Zumoff was another one I loved hearing from on Saturday night. Loved hearing him in the booth with Kate and Alla. I love Kate. She gets hated on a lot in this city. But it's because of who she replaced. If you remember, Tom McCarthy, it took a good 5-6 years before Tom McCarthy really started getting embraced by Phillies fans. He's still not loved by everyone. I won't watch 1 second of the Pro Bowl. I won't either. Probably not. Sounds like a guy who falls for fake spots. I see what you did there. Mitchie Poo. Shador being at it makes me not want to watch the Pro Bowl. Now officially means nothing. So again, I addressed Shador Sanders being in the Pro Bowl. It was a great marketing move because people are going to watch him fail, or people are going to want to watch to cheer him on, to say, "See, I told you so." You know, look at all the throws he made in a meaningless game. See, he's great. So people, it was a great marketing decision to put him in it. 3 million pages. I'm surprised none of us are in there. I mean, some of us, I don't know some of your names. You know my full name. I don't know all your real names, so a couple of you I do. Get that scumbag Harris out of here. Absolutely. Might be what we finally needed, right, Freddie? Might be finally what we need to get rid of him. Maybe the Eagles bring in someone to work along Vic if he comes back to learn his system. Well, Clint Hurt has been working with him for a long time, Adam, before the days in Philly as well. I think Clint Hurt got his first DC opportunity because of working with Vic Fangio. I think he was the DC at one point, Chicago or Seattle, I forget. But Clint Hurt's the obvious. There are names that could do the job that are here, for sure. Trying to eat on K, everything tastes like cardboard. K should only be done on top of what? Yeah, I don't know any of that. Eric Snowman. I mean, Eric Snow looks like he ate 2001 Eric Snow as an appetizer. Yeah, I don't know. To that point, I can only watch the last 5 minutes of Flyers game anymore. Look, the Flyers are what the Flyers are, okay? They're starting to fall back down to earth, and they're starting to crash, right? It's not a good thing with where the Flyers are. They're not trending in the right direction. It's frustrating to see what's going on with the Philadelphia Flyers. It is. But hopefully they can shake it off. Hopefully, I really wanted to see the Flyers make the playoffs. I really did. And I know they're on the outside now looking in at this point. Last time I looked, I forget how many points they were behind. I really, really wanted to see them get that playoff experience. Win or lose, it didn't matter. But it's not trending in that direction. What's the content check? We're talking Eagles, Vic Fangio. We could talk the salary cap going up another $25 million. We're talking Sixers and Paul George's suspension. Should there be something in contracts that if you fail a drug test, that they can void a contract? I mean, I know his suspension's costing him $11.7 million, the suspension. That means he's making almost $12 million every 25 games. That's sick. I really wish that was our out on that contract. And I know Paul George has played well this year, but man, I would still love off that contract so much. Will Hornets make it 7 straight? 3 people care about that. That OT against the Kings was the most memorable OT I've seen from a hockey team. Didn't even watch it. For the kids who don't know, Juan Epstein was one of the sweat hogs in Welcome Back, Kotter. I know Welcome Back, Kotter. I don't remember that. I just remember Welcome Back, Kotter because what's his name was a huge poker player as well. Actually, a better poker player than actor comedian, probably. Actually, at that point, Sabres are hot right now. Who? The Buffalo Sabres? Whatever. Clinton Hurt coached with Vic in 2015 and 16 for the Chicago Bears. Gotcha. I know there was time together, so this is not Clinton Hurt's first time working under Vic Fangio. And with Christian Parker going, yes, Clint Hurt would probably be the best, option to just continue on how this team is built and how this team is going. But that is very important to have some continuity there. Because of Vic Fangio's defense is so specific to certain styles of players that it took, a little time to build it up the way he needed, and it would take a little time to reconstruct it in a different image. I don't know. Go for it. What's up, Bruce? How you doing? Rest in peace, Denard Wilson, Lambert Sanford. I don't know when that happened. The only name that I saw that passed away recently this morning, this weekend, Catherine O'Hare passed away. I believe it was 71 years old. Rest in peace to the Home Alone mom. I know she was in a lot more than just that, but that's what she'll always be to me. Lifestyles of the Rich and Shameless guy. What about him? Lifestyles of the Rich and Shameless. That's what I prefer. What movie was that from? Lifestyles from the Rich and the Shameless. Is that a low down dirty shame? That was a good one. That was a good bad movie right there. Or was that from All About the Benjamins, which I just watched the other day for like the 100th time? Anyway, we got lots happening. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe, share. We're talking Paul George's suspension, what it means and how it affects it. I know who he is. I didn't know he passed away. We're talking the Paul George stuff, but we are also talking the Vic Fangio rumors. And this Vic Fangio situation, again, I'm going to go back to my original point. At some point, do you have to tell Vic Fangio, hey, coach or not, but I need a firm answer, right? We're not running a country club here, right? This is not just do what you want. We're running a football organization. I need plans. I need definitive answers. We can't go 2 weeks into the offseason where all the good options to replace you get scooped up and then have you quit. I need an answer. Has Vic Fangio in 2 years built up enough cred that he can just do whatever he wants and then we have to pivot whenever he decides? If I was Howie Roseman, if I was Nick Sirianni, I would sit with Vic and be like, yo, we need concrete answers. Now, yes or no? Whatever. If it's no, you want to retire? Cool, man. Thank you for your service. Move on. If you want to stick around, sure, but I need that commitment right now. It's not crazy to demand an answer from Vic Fangio at this point. He's been here 2 years. It's not like he's been our coach for the last 20 years. Yes, he got us a Super Bowl. He helped us get a Super Bowl. But it doesn't mean that he's got carte blanche and can just do whatever he wants and retire whenever he wants. Stoutland to Jarrell Miller to pay. I saw that. I watched that like 3 times. I was thinking that was AI generated at first. That boxer that got hit with an uppercut so hard that it blew his toupee off his head. What boxer's got a toupee on to begin with? Never even heard of a boxer with a toupee. Wrestling news, Roman Reigns won. Yeah, I did not watch. The first Royal Rumble I haven't watched in, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years. I never miss the Royal Rumble. Even when I don't watch wrestling, I find the Royal Rumble match itself and watch it. I could care less, Adam. I have not watched an episode of Raw or SmackDown in 14 months, and I don't miss it one bit. As great as JoJo's playing, the Sixers have sucked at taking advantage of turnovers lately. What do the Sixers need? Thursday is the trade deadline. We are so close to it. What do the Sixers need? Yes, Uncle Vic has developed enough cred to decide year in and year out. That's fine. He can decide year in and year out. But he can't wait 2, 3, 4 weeks into the offseason to make that decision. I need his answer now. I need his answer yesterday. Crazy if he wants to retire, he should give one more season. Look, yeah, and what's up? Tote Technician, how you doing? Like, subscribe, share if you haven't already. Vote on the poll question. If you want to retire, cool, man. Everybody deserves a chance to retire, right? And if he wants one more year, that's fine. I want him here for one more season. But this dancing around, maybe, maybe not. Like, I want definitive answers. I know when you've been a coach for 40 years or whatever Vic has been, when you're at the end of your career, I know choosing retirement or not is not an easy decision. But it's also not an easy decision to replace a legend. And if you take too long to make your decision, you really put the team behind the 8 ball. And if he decides to retire, it would be a big loss because all the candidates are already getting scooped up. Vic has a ring with both the Stars and the Birds. I think he is the only person to do that. I mean, that would have to be fact-checked. I don't even know how to fact-check that. Sixers need a rebounder. They absolutely need more rebounding help. And they've got rebounding help on the bench. They just don't use it in Andre Drummond, right? But, yes, they do need help rebounding. The 2 most popular names you're going to hear are Bobby Portis and Sadiq Bey over the next couple days with the Sixers. Chris Boucher, or Boucher, or however you say his name, he's also going to be hurt a lot, right? Remember, this is not J.J. Wentworth, 877 cash now. I know it's not. I hope Vic comes back, but it's odd he'd hold the team hostage by waiting so long. Rick, I agree. And I get it. In my mind, in theory, I probably understand why it's probably such a tough decision for Vic to make. He's going to be 68. You know, it's time to enjoy, retirement life. But you're asking him to make a decision on a 40-ish, whatever year career, right? I get it. But also, this isn't like a restaurant where you got to replace a long-term bartender or whatnot. This is a professional football organization. There's a lot that goes into getting your team ready, season in and season out. We need firmer answers quicker to pivot properly. I don't know. You claim they are. I don't care about the Pelicans, though. Broom would be a nice addition to help rebounding call him up. He has not gotten many call-ups this year, and Jeremy Broom, and he hasn't played even when he got called up very often. They struggle rebounding the ball, yet they have options, and they don't. And I don't get it. It's a clear mismatch on the boards for the Sixers, right? Now I have very spotty seen Joel Embiid put a little bit more effort on the boards from time to time this year, which is great, which is nice to see, but not frequently enough and not, successfully enough. But they got to do a better job on the boards. Black History Month trivia. Who was the first black man to play for the Phillies? I do not know the answer to that. I'm sorry. Maybe I should know it, or maybe I'm not. I do not know the answer to that question, mister. Gannon didn't give us a firmer answer. He did not give us a firm answer at all. And we see how that went, right? What about John Kennedy, SS? What? I don't know. Look, the Sixers are going to have their work cut out for them at the deadline. Absolutely. Feel like we've had what conversation before? The Pelicans? No, we have not had a conversation with the Pelicans because I don't care about the New Orleans Pelicans or the Charlotte Hornets or whoever. The only NBA team I care about is the Sixers. PA is right to work state, as you know. He can come in tomorrow and say, I'm done. I understand that. I understand technically the labor laws and the rules. We're not talking about regular jobs. This is sports coaching. This is a professional franchise worth billions of dollars, right? Where fans spend an enormous amount of money to support these teams. We deserve a good quality product. And it's hard to put a good quality product out there if you do not know what's going on with your coaches or players from year to year. That's all. Maybe I'm selfish for wanting that. Vic only suit role appearance was a defensive coordinator in 2013 for the 49ers. Was Stars is the UFL he was talking about. First black player was John Kennedy. Okay. I had no idea about this. That's on me for not knowing that. Maybe I should have known that. Good morning, Steve. How are we doing this fine morning? We're talking Paul George. We're talking Vic Fangio. We're talking the craziness that was this weekend. We could talk Justin Rose's wire-to-wire victory at the Farmers Insurance and how pissed off I am that he was on my I should bet card and I didn't bet him to win. Number one in my model, and I didn't bet him this week. That's what we could talk about. The fact that the Farmers Insurance is not supposed to be an event that finishes with a negative 20-plus score. Phil, what is this Groundhog Day? It's a day. It's today. And it's a stupid day. Chat GPT says it's Dick Allen. Obviously, it's John Kennedy, right? Danny Briere, we've already had one conversation with the Flyers already today. Yeah, look. This was supposed to be the year, right? 2026. That's when the Flyers were supposed to start turning the corner towards a success. They're falling backwards, not forward. Now, I know a lot of that happened because Vlad got hurt and other injuries, but Danny Briere's got to fix this team. Now, are they too far gone now? I don't know. 99% of Phillies fans would not know it, exactly. And that's my bad, though. I should know it. Why didn't you bet Justin Rose? He was in 40% of my lineups, and I turned a profit DFS for the first time this year. 3 weeks in, I finally hit a profitable week. Put him in 8 lineups this week, Adam. Made money. But, man, I don't even remember what his odds were, but they were juicy odds. And it would have been a very profitable week if I bet him. I don't know why I didn't. Joel should be an all-star given his story so far of how he bounced back this season. Yeah, look, RW, I agree. Joel Embiid not being an all-star reserve is pretty sad. I know he doesn't play every day. I know he's missed, 18 games this year already? But what he's done when he is on the court, Joel Embiid should be, and I wouldn't want him playing in the All-Star game. Him being healthy is important for me and the Sixers. But the recognition of the All-Star game, I think he deserves that recognition. For sure. Kennedy, not Allen, yes. Yeah, no, I think we figured that out. Flyers ain't too far gone, but they need to act now. Briere, earn your paycheck, you bum. I don't know. I tried. I was getting hyped. I was watching. And then Vlad goes down and the team starts to struggle. And I've lost interest in this team. I have. Dick Allen didn't play for the Phils till the 70s, like 75, 76, yeah. It was just a chat GPT thing someone said. Embiid should get the nod. Maybe he still will. I mean, if somebody gets hurt, he might get named as an alternate at some point. I wouldn't want him playing in the All-Star game. But I truly believe that he deserves that All-Star bid. I do. And I think it's crazy that they didn't give it to him. Kennedy played in the 50s, like 55, 56. Yeah, I don't know. While I think Danny Briere finally had a very solid draft, he definitely needs to take action. Feels like this team is just waiting for the All-Star break, which is coming up soon as well. Well, I think Danny Breer, I don't know why I just put that up a second time. Joel Embiid is going to replace Giannis in the starting lineup of the All-Star game. Look, maybe that's the case, Mitchie Poo. Maybe that's the case. But I think it's pretty crazy they didn't just get in on merit alone because, again, he's playing pretty damn well. I mean, the 30-point games, the 40-point games, he's getting better every game out there. It's been a major positive this year for Joel Embiid. Am I the only person that thinks sending our important players to play in the bullshit WBC, send minor leaguers, not important players? That's asking for trouble. Bad move, Phillies. Look, Rick, I've been saying this since the beginning of the World Baseball Classic, right? The problem is that certain countries, the Dominican, Cuba, Japan, they take playing for their country very seriously. It's a huge deal for them, national pride-wise, to play. And you can't tell them they can't. I don't want them, especially my pitchers. I don't want Christopher Sanchez pitching, but I understand why they do. I don't want my players playing in all-star games, in tournaments, in anything that's not directly with the team during the season. I don't. But I understand why they do it. And if you don't allow your players to play in these kind of things, it will hurt come free agency time and stuff like that, and contracts and stuff like that, because these players do want to. I understand why they want to play. I also don't want them to play. Flyers are 10 points out of the wild. Wow, they've really fallen. The last I looked, they were like 5 or 6 out. So even further out than I realized. Dick Allen got some pretty bad treatment here, and I'm glad the Phillies were able to mend fences and get him to the Hall of Fame where he belongs. Agreed. Good point, though. Keeping Embiid out of the All-Star game would be a blessing in disguise. Yes, it would be a major blessing for him to get the recognition, but then have him sit out, right? We don't need him going to the All-Star break and hurt himself trying to do a reverse dunk or something, right? We see how excited he gets to make big splashy plays, right? We don't need that. I don't need Tyrese Maxey playing it. He's already playing at a career high level of minutes. It's a great recognition to get that starting nod, but I don't need it. Just keep our important players out of it. World Series is the only thing that matters in baseball. I agree. But you understand I agree with you. I'm on your page, but you also understand, like someone like Christopher Sanchez getting to represent his country in anything, Olympics, WBC, anything. It's a big deal to him. And I understand that, getting to represent, whatever country you're from. Like, it's meaningful. I don't want them in meaningless things either, but I get it. So Flyers are only 7 out of 3rd place in their division. But 10 out of the wild card. That's weird. You think Schwarber or Harper will be in the home run derby if they make the All-Star game in Philly? The All-Star game is in Philly this year, in 2026. Home run derby will be here. I fully expect one of those two Phillies to represent Philly in the All-Star game. Hands down, no doubt about it. And I will contemplate going to the home run derby. I will. I won't go to the All-Star game, but I'll contemplate going to the home run derby. Absolutely. The narrative and the end of the baseball season will be, well, we had a lot of important guys run down by playing in the World Baseball Classic. Get ready for the built-in excuses. It could be. I remember the last one, right? It was the last World Baseball Classic is the offseason we got Trey Turner, and he played in it. So my thought process was always, well, at least the batters will be warmed up from stiffer competition quicker, right? Well, we thought Trey Turner was going to be great after that big home run in the WBC, and he was not. We had to give him a standing ovation that year to get him right. So I don't see any good out of it, but it is what it is. I honestly am surprised that the WBC is still around. Like, when the WBC was created, they thought it was going to be this big World Cup level thing, right? What was the first year? Like 07, 08, 09? They've done it like 5, 6 times now. They want it to be the baseball version of the World Baseball Classic. It's not. It never was going to be. It did better, importance-wise than I thought, but not enough to make it a must-play for your country, in my opinion. It's weird how the World Baseball Classic has played out. It's gotten big, not as big as they hoped, not big enough, but it has gotten big. Embiid doesn't deserve anything, no participation trophy. The less Embiid is a story in the NBA, the better. Let his knees rest, spend time with family, and get ready to be serviceable after the All-Star game. Look, I get it. I just think he deserves it straight on merit. He's playing phenomenal basketball, Steve. Phenomenal basketball over the last month or two. He's playing more games than he ever has regularly. I think Joel Embiid deserves an All-Star game nod. Now, I'd want him to get the nod and say, yo, I got to rest my knees. Get the nod. Get the check mark on the resume. Rest those knees. Spend time. Go make another baby for Arthur to have somebody to play with. Joe may need a 50-burger to win some of the next 24 games. Look, he might. And he's playing at a level where I wouldn't be shocked if he got a 50-burger, right? We've crossed the 20 concurrent viewer threshold for the first time today. That means there should be at least 20 likes. There's not. Like, subscribe, share, guys. Drop your comments. Home Run Derby is a trap. Hopefully no Phillies participate, but they will. Cue the excuse machine on that, too. You love excuses, right? Look, yes, the Home Run Derby is a trap. And we do see a lot of players struggle from Philly after it, right? Absolutely. I get it. I get it. But you also got to understand, in Philly, somebody on the Phillies are going to represent this city, for sure. Phil's really pissed. That parallel line, that parallel line did not happen for Rick, and he's still a little upset on it. How weird is it that Tish and Harris are in the Epstein files, but Jerry Jones isn't? I mean, I'm going to say no comment, all right? No comment. What are my top 3 Olympic events to watch since it starts soon? Winter Olympic-wise, I love the bobsled and the luge. I really, truly do. But I'm going to classify that as one. I actually do enjoy watching the figure skating in the Winter Olympics, just like I like watching the gymnastics in the summer. What they do is amazing. Amazing, okay? So I love that. What else in the Winter Olympics? I actually like the shooting, like the archery. Isn't that where like you gotta like ski, you stop, you shoot, it's like, I forget what the event is called, where it's like it's shooting the arrows and it's skiing, and it's like a triathlon type thing, but with skis and shooting. I love that. I love that stuff. I love the Olympics in general. I love watching sports that we don't get to see on our TV very often. Dude, I love figure skating. If you don't think that they are some of the most talented athletes out there, them and gymnasts, like, I don't know what to tell you. They are. And they don't have huge leagues, right? Huge leagues to make big bucks. They work their whole life for these moments, Rick. Do I sell Training AM shirts? I haven't sold one in a while, but there's a link in the description to a website, Lillian's Creation. She's got my logos. She makes the shirts. If you want one, you can email her. She should have the logo on file. She's got a bunch of T-shirts and long-sleeve shirts and hoodies. You get my logo on anything. She makes a little money. I get a cut of it. But, yes, there is a link in the description. It's Lillian's Creations is the name of the company. It's a local lady here out in my area that I met through the pizza shop that does shirts. Curling, baby, the ultimate pothead sport. Love it. Yeah, I mean, I have not gotten to curling like others have because of it. I'm not joining no curling club or anything like that. But for some reason, as much hype over the last 4 or 5 Winter Olympics that curling has gotten, I never fully understood it, right? I like the life at the luge and the downhill skiing. Downhill skiing, like where they got a bob in between like bob in between like the flags. Oh man, they get so freaking fast downhill skiing there. It's insane to watch. I forgot about that. Definitely I'll put that on there. I love that some of the snowboarding and like the X game type stuff has been added to the Olympics as well. I really, really get into that. 18 likes. So we're getting there. There should be over 20 right now. So guys, like, subscribe, share, drop your comments. I like the Winter Olympics, but I like the Winter X Games a bit more. Dude, I was a big X Games fan when it first started. Kind of died off over the years for me, time-wise, but yes. And some of that X Games stuff being mixed in is great. Curling is the only Olympic sport worth watching. We're going to do a curling gold medal watch party here then, right? What's wrong with figure skating? I do it professionally for years. Did you? You don't strike me as a figure skater, Big Al. That's for sure. Good morning, Bucks fan. How you doing today? Watch epic fight, goalie fight. What? I'm not sure what that means. I know you meant bobsled and luge. I figured out your translation there. I translated for you, Adam. Look, I love it. Something about the luge going like 3 million miles an hour flat on your belly or back, down ice like that, man. It's insane. I would never do it. But man, that experience of just going 100 miles an hour like that or whatever it is, that's got to be an adrenaline rush of all adrenaline rushes. Bolts versus like yeah, I didn't say it. I don't know. Lightning goalie whooped that dude's ass. I'll have to go look it up after the show. Or Rick, maybe you could DM me on Facebook a link to the fight if I don't remember. Epic game last night. It's good. Phil, didn't you see the documentary on AI's career, Blaze of Glory? I have not. I have not seen it. Bolts fan, I'll ask you. I mean, we got former Bolts coach Josh Grizzard as our passing game coordinator. That is the other big Eagles news from this weekend. Adding to Sean Mannion's offensive staff is Josh Grizzard, who did have the Buccaneers in 2024 with the #1 third down offense in the NFL. So they're already adding one experienced person to Sean Mannion's coaching staff, and I have a feeling you're going to see new names. I expect, Jeff Statland to stick around, but someone like Moorhead, we might see a new wide receivers coach, new run game coordinator. Josh Grizzard was at it. He was also somebody the Eagles interviewed twice. So yeah, the Eagles are making moves. And there's going to be a lot of new coaching names coming to Philly starting this week. Watching the Jamaican bobsled team, or do they still qualify? Cool runnings. Kids these days, Soldier Steve, don't know how awesome it was to watch cool runnings. The most sore I ever was from athletics was not football, baseball, basketball, soccer. Downhill skiing for like 7 hours when I was 22. Literally had my quad sore for 7 or 8 days. Yeah, I was never much of a skier. Never liked skiing because I never liked the cold. But then after I broke my leg, I wasn't allowed to ski ever or even try to ski ever again. I've seen women's luge in slow-mo. It's worth the watch, trust me. I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to look that one up, Big Al. Oh, man. Came down from 4 goals. Oh, gained another like. There we go. Congrats, have him. So you don't want Josh Grizzard as part of the Buccaneers anymore. Got you. Look, he spent time under McDaniels, spent time under Cohen, who are both McVay and Shanahan trees. 50.9% first down completion on third downs, first in the league. Excited for the offense this year. I'm getting excited for Sean Mannion, and every time I read something on him, I feel a little bit more excited every single day about it. Came back from 4 goals down. Look, I can't say I know much about what's happening with the Tampa Bay Lightning at this point, Bucks. I'm not going to say I barely know what's going on with my Flyers, let alone the Bucks. Definitely hockey is taking a back seat to me. Not AI. Al, your listener. Blaze of Glory was the males doubles. Ow. I get the joke. The joke must have gone over my head. My bad. Blaze of Glory is actually an extremely, extremely underrated comedy. Extremely underrated comedy. I actually haven't seen any of your shorts from your podcast. I don't even know why I haven't. I'm subscribed to the channel your show goes on. I do not see shorts about your podcast. ever when I roll through shorts literally probably an hour of my day. Not straight, but an hour of my day is spent watching shorts. And I've never seen one of your shorts, Rick. Didn't Stoutland get demoted? He didn't get demoted per se. He lost half of his job. So he's still your offensive line coach at this point. He is not your run game coordinator at this point. He might get the job back under Sean Mannion. I don't know, but I'd expect him to bring somebody else in for that. I tried to riff on your skating career, and Phil messed it up. I'm sorry. You know me. I unintentionally ruin every good joke, right? Seahawks selling their franchise after the Super Bowl. What? Why? I don't get that. Is that a joke? I don't know. Speed skating, too. Look, speed skating is sick. It really is, man. I'm losing so much more respect for Schefter anymore. Why? Because of the comments about Eagles news or something else? He spent time under them. Last year was bad. Yes, the numbers were bad last year, offensively speaking. But we're not looking for Josh Grizzard to be the play caller or to be the offensive coordinator. Right? We're looking at him to help an inexperienced coordinator, right? We're just looking for experience next to the biggest failure from Kevin Patullo as the Eagles offensive coordinator was the Eagles not giving him an experienced guy next to him. Now he's got that experience next to him. The new guy has that experience next to him. So I think it's a big win. I think the Eagles will have a good season next year. I mean, I think they'll have a great season. Could be epic depending on how the offseason goes. Look, yeah, it's just me. I ruined it. My apologies. If I go back in time, I would. I did not see this. The Seahawks are selling their team. Interesting. You guys want to pull together and buy a football team with me? Sure. No, did not see that. Did not know that. That's interesting. But I would love to buy a football team. Let's buy the Seattle Seahawks. Let's do it. I think if we all pitched in a few dollars, we could buy it in no time. Eddie the Eagle had nothing on Big Al when it came to ski jumping. Crazy Seahawks selling team. I don't even know who owns the Seahawks. I don't know anything about this, but it's got to get added to my notes for research, though. Got a couple notes written down here. Paul Allen's wife passed, and they finally decided. I'm guessing Paul Allen is the owner. Okay, look, it'll be a pretty attractive franchise for somebody to buy. Probably, right? Probably be a franchise worth a lot. Like, I mean, they got a great fan base. You know, they sell that stadium out. They've got their own stadium. I don't know if the owners own it or the city does. But there's a lot to love about that franchise to buy it. They are selling it to fulfill the late owner's wish. Got you. You've hit the like button on my YouTube podcast shorts live. Post it in Rick's Rit. Oh, okay. On Facebook. Yeah. Sorry. Got you. For some reason, I was just thinking, for some reason, they don't pop up on my YouTube feed, though. Like, I've watched all your shorts. All right. Or I see all your things you post on Facebook. But I never see them on YouTube when I'm scrolling YouTube. Seahawks asking $8 billion. Seems pretty fair, honestly. Why wouldn't they? I mean, I'm shocked it's that low, what they're asking. Gotcha. I don't know anything about Seahawks ownership. That's out of my realm of knowledge. Couldn't have told you who Paul Allen was. He could have walked right in here and I wouldn't have known who he was. Flyers came back from 5-1 deficit in Detroit in 88 to win 11-6. Funniest regular season hockey game I ever watched. That's just kind of like a comment out of left field. In 88, I didn't go to my first Flyers game till 91, 92, I think it was. I do remember it was the Winnipeg Jets. And I know I sat in the way upper deck of the Spectrum. Low-key Seahawks are my second favorite team. Oh, they're not mine. But I don't have any issues with them unless the Eagles are playing them. If Seahawks win, price go up. Probably. I actually agree with this. $8 billion is a bargain. NFL team is basically a money printing machine. Absolutely. Honestly, $8 billion is probably a bargain. Now, there aren't many people that could buy that straight up on their own. But yeah, $8 billion is a bargain, without a doubt. That team will be bought for $8 or $9 billion, and in 10 years be worth $15 billion. It is a print press. Owning a football team, owning an NFL franchise, it is basically a guarantee to get rich. It is, without a doubt. Someone put the whole game online. Got you. Yeah, I don't. My Flyers love started with the Lindros deal trade coming to Philly, right? But I had been to one game before that. But that's when I really started getting into hockey. 3 commercials in a row. I mean, you could skip through them. I've had commercials twice in an hour and 10 minutes on my screen. So get over it, okay? You don't miss a second of the show. It'd be interesting who will try to buy it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. It won't affect me or the Eagles one bit. What happens with Seattle, right? It won't. It's interesting. I'll be curious to see how it plays out, but it doesn't affect anything us related. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But anyway. Anyway, guys, if you haven't yet, you're watching Trending in the AM. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments. We are talking Paul George. We are talking Vic Fangio. We are throwing Josh Grizzard into the equation, as well as salary cap. Projected salary cap is going to go up from 279.2 to between 301 and $306 million. Another $25+ million increase. Since 2022, it has gone up over $100 million, right? And this salary cap increase, we knew it was going to go up. We didn't know how much, right? Right? We didn't know. But this is exactly why we don't worry about dead cap hits from trading A.J. Brown or not, or from any player's contracts. Because Howie Roseman knows there's always going to be more money available, right? What crazy snow in Florida a couple days ago. We haven't had snow in 5 days, and I can't get rid of it. It's going to be there for weeks. Am I a Bucks fan? I don't have a problem with the Bucks. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm a big-time Mike Evans fan. I like Todd Bowles as a defensive mind. So there are parts of the Bucks I do like. I love the city of Tampa. I love the airport in Tampa. So I would move to that region in a heartbeat if I could. So am I a fan? Call me a casual Bucks fan. They're not my number one team after the Eagles are my number one team. They're my hometown team. The Bucks are not my number 2 team. Flyers actually scored 7 goals in the third, which I think is still a record. Interesting. Hopefully Vic comes out today and says what he is doing. I think we'll get a definitive answer today, whether it's a report from a media member or a statement, for sure. Phil, did you read Charles Barkley comments about the George suspension, comment on how fishy the whole situation is? I did not. And I do know, though, people think it's a fishy situation. I don't know if it is or not. What I do know is it's bogus and it's a pain in the ass, right? And there's got to be more blame put on Paul George for this unless something fishy happens. It's so easy to check. It was colder in Florida yesterday than it was in Alaska. That's sick. That is sick. Baker is no Sam Darnold. He's not. But you know what? Baker Mayfield still is a solid quality quarterback. There were flurries in Tampa. Your city off the hook, party spot in Florida. Look, I love Tampa. I love the Gulf Coast, Tampa, Clearwater, Fort Myers, that region of Florida. That's where I'd be. Right now, if I could be. I'll be going down to Fort Myers in 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today, I think we'll be in the air already in 3 weeks from today. Spend a couple days down in Fort Myers, Get some warm sun. The skin needs that warm sun really bad. Really, really bad, honestly. I would love to have 32 degree. Yeah, tomorrow, I think we'll hit 32 degrees tomorrow, right? And maybe some of the snow will finally melt after we hit 32 degrees. Prediction for the Super Bowl will come on Friday. But it is, it's funny, and I think this is a great comment, Adam, because it makes me think about the fact that we are so far removed from what we were doing this week last year. This week last year, as Eagles fans, we were prepping for the Super Bowl. We were as hyped as hype could be. We were debating whether the Eagles could take down the dynasty of the Chiefs, right? If we could get revenge for 22. We are literally only 1 year removed from celebrating a Super Bowl championship, right? And how far have we fallen, right? Man, it's the Super Bowl week vibe. The year after you get there and then don't get there the next year, it just hits at such an all-time low. Like when the Eagles aren't in the Super Bowl, you still get hyped. It's the Super Bowl. But because they were in it last year and won it last year, this year, this is my first Super Bowl off from the restaurant industry in 30 years. Okay? I've never had a Super Bowl Sunday off since I started working at 15 years old. And this is my first one off. And I just, we'll probably live stream it here. But, I mean, I care, but I don't care. I do not love the snow. I do not love going sledding. I don't like stepping outside the house when it's not 60 degrees out. Bill, you should root Patriots to own me and the Bills fans. Look, I don't know who I'm rooting for. I'll probably be rooting for Seattle. I don't know if I'll predict Seattle, but I'll probably be rooting for Seattle because I love the Sam Darnold story. Him being the first Super Bowl champion out of that draft class will be hilarious. I do have the thought process that the Patriots are a damn good football team this year, and Drake May is really impressive this year. I'm going to watch last year's Super Bowl on Sunday at some point. Yeah, let's rewatch last year's, right? To kind of get over it. Do you know how hard it is to get into a Super Bowl? Super Bowl appearances and Super Bowl wins are never guaranteed. I know. And it's just so frustrating this week knowing that we were just there. But this team could have been there this year, right? I don't know. We've already talked about it, the wife and I, because we don't know what we're doing. Whether we're going to go somewhere, have people over or not. I don't know what we're doing. I've never had a Super Bowl menu because I've always worked Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, when the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, yeah, I would dip out 20 minutes for the game and run home. But I was always so exhausted as well from the pizza shop. From 30 years in the red. You know what it's like, Rick. You never get the Super Bowl off, right? I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about the Super Bowl because I've never not had a Super Bowl to work for. Vikings and Jets fans are definitely rooting for the Patriots. Probably. You know, there's some stuff and some drama happening in Minnesota right now, Mitchie Poo. I think they fired their GM. And there's reports that there were people in Minnesota that wanted to stick with Sam Darnold over turning the reins over to J.J. McCarthy. And the people that didn't want to stick with Sam Darnold and chose J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold are losing their jobs over it. And rightfully so. Mexican food this year and hazy IPAs. Yeah, I don't know. I had a really, really good stout at Victory in Parksburg this past weekend when I went out to lunch on dinner on Thursday it was. Really stormy something. Never had that stout from Victory. I could go for a couple of those on Super Bowl Sunday. Ask Bills fans about getting back to Super Bowls. Yeah. Do you like your city? Have you ever taken Mrs. S to the Columbia restaurant? Didn't know there was a Columbia restaurant. I've never had Colombian food. I shouldn't say that. My boss did have a girlfriend from Columbia when I was in high school. And I think she brought food around to the restaurant occasionally. I love our city. I don't go out often because I don't like driving. I'm a good 45-minute drive from Center City, so I don't mention that. But I love Coatesville where I live, and there's some great restaurants in Coatesville for sure. It's not going to happen, Adam. It's over for us. Yes, it is. I'm going to miss the best wings ever on Super Bowl Sunday. Well, sorry. Storm King, that's what it was called. First time I had it was just on Thursday. It's not my favorite stout ever. That would be the Russian by 2SP. The Russian, if you've never had it, Rick, from Two Stones Brewery. If you like stouts, you got to try the Russian. Greatest stout ever. But Storm King, I was very impressed. I got to go back and get some. It is a great time. This is the only time of year to drink stouts, right? Your city in Florida, not your city. Oh, I don't. Anyway, where are we at? We're coming. Final 10 minutes or so today. We haven't gained any new subscribers yet. We're still sitting at 10-12 today. But we'll see how this week goes. We hit the big goal last year, or last week. Let's see what this week brings this channel. We're still only at 20 likes, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. There's a lot on tap. We are going to get into the stay or go conversation, free agency-wise, this week for the Eagles. Obviously, NBA trade deadline is this week, so we got a lot of that coming up. The Russian is a great beer. Probably one of the probably 5 or 6 greatest beers I've ever had, period. Coatesville and Westchester have some nice restaurants down there. Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. If you find the Mexican from Ship Bottom Brewing, it's a phenomenal stout. I've seen Ship Bottom Brewing before, but I don't remember what I've had or seen of them. But I'll keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it, for sure. But there's lots happening this week. With Vic Fangio, with the Eagles, the coaching ranks filled out, right? You got the Super Bowl this week, right? And how do the Eagles get back next year to that Super Bowl? And this is the worst part of the entire week, right? I mean, I don't care that they're on Peacock or NBC Sports or where. We are entering danger territory with the Sixers this week. Danger territory. Because I hate West Coast trips. I hate staying awake for 10 o'clock games. I won't stay awake for much of the 10 o'clock games. And I don't have Peacock in my bedroom, so I won't watch any of tonight's game. No, we got 19 over the last week. We started last week at 993. We ended at 1012. We got to, 1,000 on Wednesday or Thursday. And then we picked up another 4 or 5 this weekend. The 19 a week is solid. I would take 20 more this week and be very content, okay, for growth purposes, right? We got to keep those numbers coming up. We got to keep those numbers going up. But anyway, guys, it's a big week, right? A lot of interesting things will go down. The Sixers are playing on Peacock tonight, supposedly. I didn't know. I just knew they were West Coast, 10 o'clock start time, so I knew I wouldn't be watching. They're out playing the Clippers, the Lakers, I forget who else. They got the Suns on this West Coast trip. I know they got 5 games out on the West Coast now. 26 going to be an abysmal year for Philly sports. Might want to find some extra hobbies. Is it? Is 2026 going to be abysmal? Is there a downtick in Philly sports happening? I don't know. The Eagles are still right there. I'm still uber confident that the Eagles will be fine. The Phillies are a massive question mark. The Flyers trending down. The Sixers, a huge wide open question mark. And what's abysmal? Is the Sixers just getting back to the playoffs? But losing, say, in the first round, is that abysmal? I don't know. It depends on the how. The Phillies making the playoffs and being one and done again, that's abysmal. Is there any hope for a championship this year? I mean, the Eagles can get back to the Super Bowl next year. Absolutely. Now, the Super Bowl would be in early 27, but it would be the 26th season. But the Sixers are the only team that I remotely have any, sorry, not the Sixers. The Eagles are the only team that I have any hope for a championship for this city this year. Absolutely. When did NBA start doing Sunday night basketball? Are they trying to? Yes, this is their first year doing it. Sunday night basketball, yes. They just started after the season ended, too. Phillies most likely will miss the playoffs. It's very possible. Very possible, Rick. And I've said it, and I've agreed. They're more likely to miss the playoffs than win a World Series. Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett will all be rumored to the Eagles this offseason. Which one fits Vic Fangio's scheme, or which one fits whoever the DC that takes over for Vic Fangio will be the question, right? I don't know if the DC is leaving. We don't know that. I think the reports I'm hearing is going to be that he's going to come back one more year. The A.J. Brown drama is still yet to unfold. Free agent losses are going to be big, but they're going to gain some as well. The Eagles will be fine. John Kincaid, great guy, great morning show guy. He does the morning show on the radio. And he's the one that kind of put out my thought process before me, because he goes live at 6:30 in the morning or whatever time, that I would tell Vic, stay or go. But you need to make a decision right now. Or if you can't make up your mind, deuces. I really think saying to Vic Fangio, you've got to make up your mind or we're going to make it up for you, is an okay thing to say. I did watch some of the Grammys last night. I did. I didn't know who half the performers were. I will say one of them I was impressed with, and Bruno Mars's performance. You know, I'm a closet Bruno Mars live performance fan. I think he's very entertaining. Nope, that's not who I was looking up from last night. Trying to think. I looked up who she was, and now I can't find her name in here anymore. One of the girls, she won Best New Artist or Best New Album or whatever. If I was a betting man, I would not bet on the Super Bowl for Philly this season. Look, it's tough. Do you think that they're more likely to miss the playoffs, the Eagles, next year than get back to the Super Bowl? No, I think they're more likely to get to a Super Bowl than miss the playoffs. But it's going to be a year in flux for the Eagles. And the next month or two, basically 3 through April, it's going to be a very interesting time. And until we learn about Vic, until we learn what they do in free agency, until we see what they do in the draft, we're not going to know, Rick, okay? There's going to be turnover with the Eagles. There is no doubt about that. There's going to be massive turnover with this team. I do believe it is going to be. No, I think, see, here's the thing. The last couple of years have been excruciating for Phillies fans, right? It's just some of you are finally realizing it now, okay? So it's just going to be part of the course for me this year. They're going to win a bunch of games. They're going to go in cold stretches. Everyone's going to tell you, but don't worry, it's a long season. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. They're going to tell you, well, they're on pace to win 93 games, despite all the same problems happening. I'm just going to be sitting back like, see, I told you so. I live rent-free in your head. That's what I'm going to tell you and everybody else. Bruno was saved from the mob breaking his legs because of a collab with a Korean singer for a song about an apartment. Do with that what you will. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but okay. So I guess the stadium talks is off the table. No. I do think the Eagles are still looking to build a new stadium. Maybe it's just not as pressing big deal as people think. Maybe it just doesn't happen yet. But I fully expect in the next year or two that the Eagles will start the process of building a new stadium. I really do. They don't like being at the bottom of the list in attendance. They're at the bottom of the list in attendance because of the size of their stadium. So, yeah. '76ers might be the only Philly team to get in playoffs this year. I mean, maybe. I don't think so. I think the Eagles will, for sure. Cliche machine this year. Who, me? The Phillies? The Phillies are going to be a cliche machine, without a doubt. It is going to be a long summer of trending in the AM, Nooms. Coming on here every morning, bitching about the Phillies. It is. Ain't rent-free with me. I'm telling you there is no playoffs. I've been telling you that the Phillies are a problem for a while. There was no parallel line. And now I'm living rent-free because you won't admit that I was right. Okay? You can't admit that I was right. And I was right on that Phillies team. And I was right a long time ago on this Phillies team. I was right when I said after the loss in the World Series in 2022 that Rob Thompson should not be retained as the manager, at least not guaranteed to be retained. All right? I was right all along. I mean, we're here till the comments stop rolling in. We will do some Phillies watch parties. Absolutely. I will do almost guaranteed, unless schedule whatever. I will do watch parties for the Phillies for sure. I wanted to do a Sixers one. We didn't get to it, but this past weekend. But look, break it down this way, Rick. What have I been saying for the last couple of weeks? The last time the Phillies ran it back 5 years in a row was 2012, and it was the first of a 9-year 2012 through 22. That was the start of 10 straight years of missing the playoffs. And they're running it back for a 5th year. Now, the problem is the Phillies still do have a lot of high-priced guys in the middle of their contracts, not the end or beginning, middle of their big contracts. So they're going to sell us that this team is not done. They're going to tell us for 2 or 3 more years that the era of Phillies baseball isn't over. But it is. They should be thinking of ways of trading Trey Turner or Bryce Harper or JT. They shouldn't have re-signed JT, period. Right? The Phillies are in a dark spot because when Dave Dombrowski gets fired, the next guy that takes over the job is going to have a shitstorm to rehab, to fix. I wouldn't want the Phillies job after Dave Dombrowski gets fired. All right, the coffee's done. That means the show's over. I got to go have breakfast, then I got to do shorts, cut up that, start working on some NBA trade deadline stuff. I got to work on golf content. The Waste Management Phoenix Open. If you've never watched live golf before, this is the week to be a golf fan, okay? Waste Management Phoenix Open. It's the People's Open. It's the greatest party on grass. It is the biggest party of the year in the PGA Tour. It is literally fans doing cake stands at golf events. That's this week. This is the week to get into golf if you've never done it. Stream what game? I'll be streaming the Super Bowl probably. What is Bryce Harper have on his body, that red light? It's I don't understand the science behind it, but I do see a lot of athletes using it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just weird. Straight up weird, Adam. Anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Let's do a quick refresh here on the numbers today. Did we get to 20 likes? I think we did get to 20 likes today. No new subscribers, but let's see here. Yeah, we got to 20 likes. No new subscribers. Decent views today. Not great. Not bad. But we got a jam-packed week this week. Lots happening. Lots going on this week on this channel and in sports. So stay locked in, guys. I'll see you guys later. Everybody have a great Monday. Go Birds still. And always, bubbles up.